Hello and welcome to Life by Design. I am your host, Aklilu Abraham. On this program, we interview influential people of our generation and discuss their highs and lows of their life and how they stay up top. On this program, I have Bobby Abeselom. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Thank you very much, AK. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure having you on the show, my brother. Before we go any further, before I do get into my its and bits of questions, let me give you the chance to introduce yourself to our listeners.
My name is, as you said, Bobby Abeselom. I'm originally from Ethiopia, Addis.
Yes.
Born and raised. I lived out here. Actually, my real name is Yedego Abeselom. So a lot of people.
What was it? Repeat that.
Yedego Abeselom.
So his real name is actually Yedego Abeselom. So a lot of you guys who call him by Bobby, now you have his official name. I was actually about to ask him that.
What does it mean?
Yes, I mean your name. Like, is it Bobby? Like, come on.
Yeah. So my
Habesha name. You be the first Habesha name.
There's a rumor that I was named after Bob Marley.
Wow.
It's just like a rumor.
Wow.
But the reality is my dad was very close to his father.
Okay.
Trying to continue the family legacy.
Yes.
And he always adored his father. So he said my firstborn son is going to be named by my father, which is my grandfather, and his name was Yedego.
Wow.
Which means in Tigrinya, don't touch him.
Literally.
Like literally don't touch him. Like supposedly there were 7 brothers.
Okay.
And 7 of them or 6 of them died. 1 survived. Yeah. The one who survived, his name was Yedego. Anyway.
Wow. So it makes sense to name him.
Don't
so how many are you guys all together in the family?
We're 2. Okay. My brother and I, and then we do have a half sister.
Okay.
We do have a half sister.
Okay.
So technically we're 3.
Okay. Beautiful.
So born and raised in Addis. Then I moved to the States right after high school here.
So before he actually gets into the story, let's ask him. So tell us a bit about you, where you were raised, where you went to school, and where you went to school and all that. Especially college. I hear that you went to California.
I went to California. Yeah.
Yes.
So give
us a background. Your story in Ethiopia and
sure.
Yeah.
I went to school in the American school.
Okay.
In ICS.
ICS.
Yeah.
Yes, Ethiopian American School.
The American International School in Ethiopia.
Yes.
And it was a fantastic school. Okay. Really, pretty much.
The typical American high schools.
Typical, and I would even say it's better than a lot of the schools in the U.S.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Private schools.
Facts.
I mean, their facilities are just incredible.
Yes.
I was actually there recently for an alumni event.
You were invited, yeah.
We were invited.
How long was this? 15, 20 years?
Oh, whew. I'm trying to
drop the ball. Okay, let's not even get to that. So right after you graduated, you moved to California.
Right after
you were 17 or 18?
I was 18.
You were 18.
I was 18.
So where did you go? What did you major in?
So I went to Boston. First place I went to was Boston, and I majored in business. But I hated business.
Where did you go in Boston?
I went to this small school called Curry College. I don't think a lot of people. College? No, it's not. It's a small private school.
Cool.
It's in Milton, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know about this school.
Yes.
But for the first time, it was like shell shock. Like I experienced somewhat for the first time racism.
Wow, so this is your first time actually stepping out of Ethiopia? Or?
No, I've been to the States before.
But never in that kind of
environment.
Never in a
long environment. When you're there, it says that there's this fact of just like being away from home, so you're homesick, you're experiencing a new culture shock.
Yes.
Like racism and stuff like that. Yes. I really did experience that in Boston.
So this is early 20s, right? The late 90s.
This was 1998.
98. Okay.
You know
a freshman.
What I'm saying?
So you're a freshman.
I'm a freshman.
So you pretty much told me your age by now.
Yeah, pretty much. Do the math. Guys, do the math.
Okay.
By the way, no, I'm 42.
42.
42 years old.
3 years more than me. Not much. I'm 39.
You're 39?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like my birthday party was very. Did you come to my birthday party?
I did not, but I should have.
You should have. It was a big.
It's like a Hugh Hefner's party.
Not
just kidding.
But it was a big party. It was a big party.
That's...
And so I went to school there, and then after a semester, I said, this is not for me.
Okay.
And then I transferred to California.
At where were you? Freshman, sophomore?
I transferred my freshman year.
Your freshman year.
You
just had enough.
I had enough, and I went to this school, Loyola,
Okay.
Loyola Marymount.
Okay.
And then I stayed there for another semester, and I transferred again.
So Loyola is in Boston?
No, in California.
In California.
Yeah, I moved to California.
Okay. Yes.
So then I transferred again after that because it was just
and
way
the major
too
is still the
expensive.
same, business management.
It was no. At that point, I switched from business to, believe it or not, computer science.
Wow, that was actually my first major.
That was your first major?
Yes, but I dropped out.
You dropped out.
I mean, I dropped it to marketing. Keep going, though.
So college is about a time when you're trying to figure out what you want to do.
Facts.
Like all of us, like it's a time where we gotta like discover who we are, especially coming from an international community.
Facts.
Like
an immigrant.
Yeah, an immigrant. You're seeing a new environment. So it's like, what do I want to do with my life?
Very true.
So I thought, hey, maybe I should study business because that's what's expected of me.
Yes.
But there was a part of me that I hadn't tapped into growing up, and I guess we'll get into that later. But my father, I always say, was not a businessman.
Okay.
My father was an artist who happened to be in the world of business. You know what I mean? Okay. But his soul and everything about him, he was a creative person. He was an artist, everything that he did. So I kind of either have that gene or I grew up watching that.
Facts. I can see that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's when I knew that maybe business is not for me. Yeah. I got to get into something more artistic.
So what did you get into? You said computer science, though.
Well, yeah, because then I'm thinking, that's what I should get into. So I dropped out because Marymount was very expensive for an international student. Okay. Then I joined a JC, junior college.
Okay.
So then I finally felt a little more comfortable because here my parents were not spending all this money while I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in my life.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
If you find out and you knew what you were doing, even if
then
they
it's
did
okay. Yeah, it's okay. But now I just felt like I can't do this to my parents. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I dropped out of that. And I went to Orange Coast College. Okay. OCC.
OCC. That's where I got the information from.
Right.
So you majored in what at OCC?
So in OCC, I majored in art. I was doing graphic design. I was doing sketching. I was doing creative writing.
So how old are you at this time, Bobby?
I think at this time I'm like in 20, like 19, 20.
Okay. So what I'm understanding here is that you woke up early.
Yes.
Many people don't wake up early, Bobby.
Yes.
It takes a lot of struggle. People fall. They get up. Their parents support them. Then they find out who they really are.
Right.
But I see that you found that niche.
Right.
At an early stage.
Right.
So what caused that? What happened to you? Was it the racism that you faced in Boston?
No.
I
mean, race. That was just made me realize certain things about America and. I mean, they're good people. Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. I love America.
Yes.
But it has its negative
It's
sides.
it's not a big thing.
Yeah. I think what really made me wake up is just I think my mom.
Okay.
And
Tell us about that.
She just really believed in me, and the idea of letting her down was not something like First of all, I didn't want them to struggle. It's not easy when you're sending.
Someone abroad,
sending money from
Ethiopia, exchanging it. Yeah,
exactly.
I had a few foreign students with us.
I mean, for the most part, that's how international students all over the world, right?
Yes.
So for me, I was like, you know what? I can't have them pay this. I got to find my own way, kind of.
Yes.
And so when I decided to drop, and my mom just wanted me to go to school. She's like, no, just stay there, and just. I was like, Mom, because the reason I found out about OCC was when I took summer classes. And then when I finished Marymount, and then in the summer, I started taking
Art classes.
classes in OCC, like summer classes.
I got you, summer classes, yeah.
And I realized how huge the gap was in tuition.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, and you were happy.
And I was happy. They had all the facilities.
Yeah.
They had all the courses that I wanted to take.
Yes,
So I was like, Mom,
Yes,
like I could just do this.
Yes.
You guys don't have to stress about paying this crazy amount. I could stay with my cousins.
Yes.
They lived in Orange County.
Yes.
And that's what I did. So, that's what made me wake up early. Yeah. First of all, I didn't want my mom to stress out and then me not knowing what I wanted to do.
Yes, sure. Yeah. So this show is all about life by design, So most people have pretty much a life that's already designed for them, per se, But to actually follow that, it takes a lot more strength, persistence, and all that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is to wake up.
Right.
To wake up and follow that route, that what your parents are, intended for you. You know what I mean? It's very difficult. People normally get lost during those ages and wake up later on once they spend a lot of money, once they, they've done a lot of things. So I actually congratulate you on that part.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that. It's all about. I mean, if I was to tell anyone, it's just like be self-aware. Really, like at the end of the day, especially now to the youth. Now it's like it's so easy to be influenced by things that are not your own, like life by design, things that are not of your creation or your design, because of whether it's social media or the other influences. It's so easy to get lost and start living a life that isn't meant for you.
Facts. I want to get, to the its and bits of that. But before I do, let's talk about Castademma now.
Okay.
I have things that we want to talk about, step by step.
Sure.
And a lot of times people like you who are influential in Addis in Ethiopia amongst the Habesha community, you have to do things that are outside of the norm. You know what I mean? Meaning to stay as an elite or as a leader or as an influencer. There are certain things that you do that makes you different than the other people. And I've seen you since I've actually moved here. And every time I've seen you, you've always been creative. You've always done things that better the country. That puts an image in the country. And so many the young youth are actually watching you. So what are some of the things that you can actually tell people that they can do on a daily basis? That they can somehow design their life.
Well, I think with me is. I think, like we were talking about this earlier, and it's a quote by Oprah who said, "Love is in the details."
Yes.
Yes. And so we tend not to pay attention to details.
Yes. Isn't that crazy how Oprah said that? She said, "Love is in the details," but in reality, the quote is, what? The devil's in the details.
Well, the devil. Everything is in the details.
Exactly.
Everything, good or bad.
Yes.
Right. So.
Yes.
My thing is, it's because I care about something. If I love something, if I choose to do something, it's because I care about it and I love it. And when you, foster something, when you water it, it will become something like that you'll be proud of. Facts. It'll be something amazing. So it's not that I necessarily am doing things to stay at a level of, like you said, elite or anything. It's not that.
I know. Trust me, if you did, you wouldn't be there.
Right. It's just about, hey, I think we can do better. I mean, that thing. It's like, and a lot of people say this thing, which used to annoy me. Is no, it's good enough. It's good enough. Especially there's this thing that people say, for Habesha, it's good enough.
Yeah. That's exactly true.
Right? And it's like, but why? You know what I mean? Yes. So when I was doing, for example, the restaurant/club, Jolie, renovating certain things. I remember when I was, first of all,
it was a pastry place, right?
It was a pastry cafe before.
Your father's was a pastry.
And a bakery. And I kind of changed it around. And so the first thing was, why are you building this so far away from Bole? No one will show up. Because everything is in Bole. Like, there's that area, they don't kind of deserve this.
And you gave it a slogan that everybody took.
Yes. And that slogan was...
think outside of Bole.
Think outside the bowl, exactly.
Absolutely beautiful.
It was, it was catchy, and so from there, why'd you do? And then when we were renovating the bathroom, and the bathroom was really nice, they're like, a day, like, why are you doing this for this? Like, so that was very weird for me. But I really believed if you build it, they will come. Facts. And that's for anything that you do. You do that with love. Yes. You do that with passion. Yes. And it's not necessarily you're driven by the monetary returns and money or stuff that you get rewarded for it. Facts. And so
how do we get our people to get on that level? See, the problem nowadays is you build a hotel, it costs you 200, 300 mil, right? Mm-hmm. And you have a receptionist. And you hire all these people. And then you have a guy sitting next to a cashier that's actually cutting tissues, Yeah. And you know what I mean? The bathroom doesn't have tissues. And I'm like, do you want me to give you money for tissues? Like, you know what I mean? That state of mind. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So how do we change that, Bobby? Like, how do we change the people's perception, people who are in your, in business? Per se, to be more creative, to be more, to ride high and to ride low at the same time. Because, Bobby, you do that. You fly high at the same time you're grounded. Yeah. But people don't know that difference. You know what I mean? You can't just, like, be there. And, you have to come down. That's how, that's how you bring that creativity, that humbleness. That's where you find the niche. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's a good question. Yeah. I think it's hard. It's very complicated because I think a lot of that has to also deal with our culture. Like there's a cultural part. Yes. That is so entwined with the way we do business. Yes. And the one thing I could say is.
So how do you feel? Like, how do you feel being one of the few ones that actually care? You know what I mean? Like, when I heard somebody told me, like, every morning at Castademana, the employees have a meeting before they outburst into everybody before they go to there. This is such a Western culture. Such a productive culture. Yeah. Because once you have that meeting, then your whole day actually goes out smooth. So how do you stay like that in a country where it does not support such kind of systems?
Well, regarding that, with Castademana, I always say, okay, let's pretend this is our own little embassy. Okay. Like, don't worry about what happens in the country. Okay. Don't tell me about this is how they do it. Yes. In another company. Yes. This is how it works. In the in this or that, place. In another place. Let's do things better here, and that's the beginning. Like it's very simple. It's like be the change. So how
do we do better?
Yeah, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Okay. So in regards to that, it's just I always say, this is our own little village, and in our village we make the rules.
Wow. Did you guys heard that?
Right. Going back to what you said is, I think we should take on projects within our means. And I think there's a lot of people here, and I don't know why, that we tend to take on projects based on this idea of they just want to have a hotel, for example.
Exactly. Thank you.
Right.
And have no background.
There isn't that foundation to actually run it properly, nor to create it properly. Yes. I mean, one of the things that I feel like even the government should get into it is like parking. Yes. Like there has to eventually you can't just people are not creating parking for themselves because they're using every square inch space to rent it out. Yes. Where do people are we gonna have flying cars soon?
Yeah, not even balconies. We don't even have balconies.
Nothing. So it's crazy. Like somebody that has to address this. Yes. Very soon. Yes. So I would say, look, let's do things slowly. Yes. Let's build slowly. Yes. We don't need. If you could build something that is like as the Tower Empire State Building, make it smaller, create some parking as well. Yes. Create better services. Facts. Yes. And I think it'll be a better place for a lot of people. Yes. I think it's stressful. Like I don't come to Bole a lot now during the work week because there's just nowhere to park.
There's no park.
It's just like and that affects my mood.
Absolutely.
When I'm trying to circle around, trying
me
to
too, same
parking,
here.
it's just
Yes,
like,
yes.
you know. So it's like,
Yes.
so then I'll probably want to eat somewhere around here, but then because I can't find parking, it affects my mood. I'll eat somewhere else, which I'm not as happy.
Yes.
So it's all connected.
When do you think we'll see a better Ethiopia, where businessmen are actually driving, not for the sake of their profits, but like you said, for service, for standing truthfully for what they believe in instead of a profit-gaining businesses, you know what I mean? And then, you'll never see these people in 5 years, Somebody else owns that business.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous, Bobby.
Yeah.
So somebody as brilliant as you've gotten to where you gotten to, waking up at an early age. A lot of us didn't have that, didn't do that. We had to fall and get up. And you know us, we had to fall, get up. And it's funny how you just sat there and you've seen the whole wave go up and down and up and down. I admire you for that.
Yeah,
no,
don't get it wrong though.
Yeah. I mean, you have your own.
I had my even this transferring schools, that whole thing, that's part of the confusion. You know what I mean? Back then. And then even here, finding myself look, it hasn't been easy for me. I don't want it to seem like coming here, whether it's running the club, whether it's taking over our family business, they all had their challenges.
Of course.
A lot, and there's things that I went through that are not easy.
I already know.
To, you know what I mean? So there's been a lot of ups and downs.
Run me through your business, your normal business day, Monday through Friday, starting early in the morning.
Well, for the most part, it's just getting to work early. And
what time do you rise?
It really depends. I mean, there are times I wake up at 5.
Okay.
I would go to the gym. I stopped going to the gym.
You told me that. But the last time I still have the image of you at
the gym running.
Lafto. Across the pool hall.
Yeah.
You're just doing you.
So
when I see people like you doing these kind of things, by the way, you are seriously an icon to a lot of people, Bobby. And the fact that to stay afloat, it takes a lot. People don't understand that. On this show, I'm not just here to boost you up or whatever. I want people to hear how people stay afloat. You know what I mean? So you wake up. Everyone has that.
It's a great question. You know what? It's absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is not for anyone. You really got to put the work in.
That's what I'm saying.
You really do.
So
There's no
other
other way. The truth is, it doesn't, everything that you see, a lot of people say, wow, you guys have gone to a new level.
Yes.
How do you? Yeah, it's a grind. It's constantly somebody has to do it.
Yes.
Right? Somebody has to go in, create those meetings because nothing happens on its own.
Absolutely.
And nothing happens, unfortunately, until this culture changes.
Yes.
There's always the sense of, let's wait for the owner.
Facts.
You become that guy. Just if you're not there, just things don't move. They're kind of in this standstill.
Yes.
So it's a lot of it is just showing up to work early and then kind of seeing what is the day-to-day activity, what's planned for the day, how are things moving.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
you have a great team, by the way. I've been hearing.
Oh yeah, we
a great
do.
Team. Yeah.
And one of the things is it's slowly changing. My team, I'm very, very proud of them because they're starting to learn how to work on their own.
But you know what it is? I mean, it's it's great to have a team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that the team needs to understand, to create that kind of environment, to create that kind of team, you need somebody. That kind of team doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We used to be an Africa Vacation Club. That's one of the toughest teams we had here. So to establish that, to have that, it comes from you. You're creating an atmosphere for people where they can be codependent. Like you said, to work on their own. That's like Google stuff, right?
The Google.
They don't have to come to the office.
Oh, okay. Yeah. From remotely.
Just leaving them to be independent. And no, it's a great thing. We don't have that in Ethiopia, where employees are satisfied with their employer. That relationship.
Well, it's about I think for that is how do you make it better? You asked one question.
Yeah.
How does it change? How does the business environment change?
Yes.
That starts with leadership.
Yes.
Leadership is first. It's kind of a tough question, but
yes.
really, and then back to someone like in my position, empower people.
See, that's exactly what I was trying to say. I completely lost it.
Oh, okay.
So it's called specialization.
Right.
So you're trusting someone that specializes in that section.
Right.
To fully trust them to give them that opportunity to show themselves. And we don't have that here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So elaborate more on that.
So empowering people is, one of the things I noticed about this country and the work environment is people are afraid to make decisions because they don't want to be held liable.
Facts.
So they don't, something they could easily do, they'll just pass on because what if they got it wrong?
Facts.
Right? If they got it wrong, but what if they got it right? It's like, what if I fall? But my dear, what if you can fly?
Wow.
Yes. So we need to understand the strength of our team.
Synergy.
Empower them, of course, on a bigger level. It's not always easy. I do want to talk about the other side for business owners and leaders, whether it's in government. It's because we live in a society which is, we lack resources. It's still there's still a lot of poverty, and so there's a lot of corruption.
Yes.
And because there's a lot of corruption, it's hard to empower people because when you do, they might do other mischievous things. So it's not like in a developed country where you could just kind of empower people, let go. Yeah. Here it's like you empower. It's like, did I trust the right person to do this? And then you're kind of watching.
And this is like literally in everything.
And in everything. Like it could be from them stealing, or from them not even doing, like literally not even just like completely dropping the ball. Facts. One of my good friends, a really smart guy, went to Harvard. Yeah. He said to me, out here it feels like there's a thin line between ignorance and people doing things on purpose to hurt you, to hurt the company or the work. He said it's a very thin line. Are they doing it on purpose or are they really ignorant? Yes. Like, do they not know? Because it's so close. Yes. It's like, but it's so logical. Yes. Why would you do it this way? It's so I thought that was interesting.
So do you think that's a third world problem or it's just more of an Abisha problem?
I feel like it's first I'd say it's a third world country. It's a poverty thing.
Genetically we inherited.
No, and one thing that I would really say this, I would say this to the government and I would say this to a lot of people, is we need to invest in education. Yes. Really. I see buildings that are worth billions and this and that, but it's just crazy to me that we still don't have really sophisticated schools. Yes, we don't. The education system. In the U.S., when they felt like they were being held behind in the 20s.
Yeah, I don't even want to say this, but I heard there are people that graduate in chemistry and tell them to write chemistry, they write with a K. That was ridiculous, bro. Yeah.
Right. So that is.
With the number of the number of graduates is a lot. Yeah. But the number of educated people that we do have is low. But the ones that are educated, they don't stay here. They actually move because of the circumstances in the country, there's a political problem, economical problem. Exactly, brain drain. So that's why I'm giving you all the props. So I think me and Bobby are just going to talk for hours. So let me just hop on right into the question. So before I go on my next question, please tell us about your father. There's a lot of things. I've did my own research. Before I get into that, let's hear who Gash Abeselom is.
My dad, Abeselom Ihedego.
Yes.
He's a unique individual. He was a very unique individual, very honest, full of integrity, full of principles. He was born in Asmara. And then he moved out here when he was 17 or 18 to Addis. And he was a hardworking guy. He got a job as a salesman out here in a Norwegian furniture company.
Wow. That's his first job?
That was his first job. And he did some odd jobs. But that was really the job that kind of changed him and molded him to be what he was destined to be, which is, furniture and even Astadamena eventually came because of that.
So he was a hands-on guy?
He was a hands-on. He was a people's person. He was very charismatic. Yes. Very charismatic. Yes. Very energetic. Yes.
He was involved in sports.
He loved sports.
I heard that he sponsored a lot of Ethiopian athletics.
He did. Yeah. So
tell us more about that.
Okay, that side of that. So my dad, he at a very early age got obsessed with the athletic federation, mainly Abeselom.
Woo! That's my favorite guy. By the way, guys, I was a runner. I was a captain of my high school team.
Were you?
Yes, track and field and cross country for 4 years. I was a captain for 2 years.
Like long distance?
Long distance,
track and field. Okay.
I did, 800 is minimum. I did.
Oh, okay.
16, 32,
Where
5K.
were you, by the way?
Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you would have been at my dad's favorite.
Oh my God.
He would have been.
I used to have those. What do you call those baseball cards? So this was Abeselom's baseball card.
Oh, you had that?
Yeah, and I used to wear them under my cleats every time I ran.
Really?
So you tell me about your dad.
Good luck.
Yeah, 1960s, Rome.
Yes.
Barefoot, the first black man to receive a gold medal.
Yes.
So your dad did what with him?
So my dad was one of the first people that just kind of took, his own money and started investing and helping his family. He actually was
after our accident or before the accident?
This is before the accident.
Okay.
This is way before the accident.
Yeah.
And he was heavily involved with his life. And then eventually, when Abeselom passed away, he built his tomb. Tomb. And had the ceremony for his funeral and all that stuff in Yosef. He was just, and ever since then, he became the father of athletics.
Wow.
My father, he was very young at that time. He was in his mid-20s during that time.
Wow.
And they had a very unique relationship, but they had a good relationship. So after that, whether it's Murutz, came next, and everybody else, all the way until Haile and, Shimalis, Darartu.
Yes.
He loved Darartu. My father has been involved. He just would one of the biggest things I ever saw, I was 16 years old when Haile won in Atlanta.
Okay.
In 96.
Is that when the endurance came out?
I think endurance came out later.
A little bit later.
A little later after that, yeah.
Yes.
So during that time, I remember they won. I think it was him, Samra. I think two other people. I can't remember who they were.
Okay.
But my dad built this huge globe, and then went to the airport.
Okay.
And from the airport, as soon as they got down from the airplane, they got into this big globe. Okay. 3 of them. Haile was in the middle. Okay. And they drove around the city, waving, and there were thousands of people just running around, and my dad orchestrated this whole thing.
Wow.
And it was incredible to watch.
The person never told me about this. They just told me that your dad was he sponsored a lot of... This is huge.
Yeah, athletics is in... It's kind of like in his DNA, and I guess in a way that's kind of not as much as him.
Yeah.
But it's been passed on to us.
Yeah.
We are trying to maintain and continue that legacy as part of the Castadamana brand and heritage.
Okay.
My father, and he lived his life. Towards the end of his life, he became a born again. Okay. I wouldn't even say towards the end of his life. I'd say around 45 or something. So that's not really the end.
That's early.
Yeah, it's early. Yeah. So, mid, I guess, became born-again Christian, kind of. Okay. And one thing a lot of people may or may not know is he was an incredible dancer. He did the twist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I
he
see the
did
video,
the twist.
right?
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah.
So, and then he found Christ.
Yes.
He found Christ.
Okay.
And, lived the remainder of his life devoting his work, his life to
philanthropy.
God. Philanthropy has always been around, but then...
So you carry that, and Castadamana carries that heritage, the philanthropy, and I want to thank you for that, because this is a country, it's a third world country, no matter what. We do have, the gap is pretty wide, and you're taking that initiative. You took that from your father, and you're actually doing a lot of things. Please do talk about what you have. You do have a project in Dukum?
Yeah, we have several.
So let's talk about that project, because you didn't tell me about that. I had to hear from somebody else. So what is that project, and is it something that your father had before? Are you continuing that philanthropy, or is this your personal take?
This is stuff that we try to continue in some ways what our father started.
Okay.
And for the most part, we're doing that. But there's a lot that we started on our own, whether it's building homes to people that are displaced, whether it's, one of the things is, for people that have been affected by, diseases or certain things like that, we help them out. We have a project for older women that have nowhere to go. And Haben, actually, she works with us. She kind of leads that. So we have, whether it's kids, we have this foundation that we're trying to do for anyone affected with HIV or anything like that. We have another one where, in Dukem, we've kind of taken water out for the community.
Yes, that's
you know what
beautiful.
I mean? Yeah,
yes,
so,
yes.
we provide things like that.
So can other companies also get involved, try to participate with you?
Yeah.
Give you guys more, support you guys?
One of the things that I'm trying, one of the projects that I'm developing amongst everything else that we're trying to do is called the Rainbow Shelter.
Okay.
Which is because of an association with mattresses, trying to, and if the government or someone could give me somewhere, a few places, different areas, building a huge warehouse.
That's awesome.
And building showers.
That's awesome.
And creating beds. So nobody gets to sleep on the streets. I mean, I know that for the most part, people have, even if it's shanty homes, they have somewhere to stay.
Yes.
But I do every now and then see people sleeping on the streets.
Yes, a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
And so I am, about this in the U.S., they have these things called missions.
Yes.
When you get there before 5 p.m. or something, they give you a mattress.
Yes. This is an awesome idea, Bobby.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you're calling out on government support as well on this project?
I don't think in 2022 people should be sleeping, especially when there are individual private companies that want to help, that want to get involved. So we just need the space to create these shelters.
So the problem is, it's not that the business, the local business are not trying to help. They're not getting government support as far as getting lands and
absolutely.
Or do they even? Is there initiative? Is there certain companies that are trying to do this outside of Casa de Mena?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of. I mean, it's just like regardless. Just like we needed a library in the city,
yes.
I think in the city you need a shelter.
Shelter.
You know what I mean?
And that's beautiful that you said in the U.S. like you come before 7 p.m. We have a place for you. We have dinner for you.
We have dinner. You get a meal, and
Yes.
then it also becomes a program where they try to help you get a job.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But then the next day you're out again. But if you still cannot find a place, you're back in. You know,
Absolutely.
and you just create these beds in a row, whether it's for 200, 300, 400 people.
Yes.
And they got a clean shower, they got food. So that's something that's really close to my heart. It's called the Rainbow Shelter.
So if there's any company out there that is actually listening to this who do want to collaborate with you on establishing this,
we'd be very happy.
How would they contact you?
I mean, you can call
page?
through Casa de Mena,
Okay.
exactly. You know what I mean. Through my secretary, I could give that number out. And
Yes.
but really, the best place is just on our website, info@castademena.com.
There you go.
You could find me there.
Yes, this is an enormous idea that Bobby's talking about. So all you businessmen out there that do want to help, that people are sleeping on the street, this guy has a brilliant idea. He is a huge influencer. So do contact him. My next question.
Sure.
Okay. I hear you got Akon's phone number.
I mean, I have a contact to him. But
Contact
through,
him.
yeah.
That's what's up. So Akon. So tell me your relations with Akon. What's going on?
My relationship with Akon is strictly, business related. I met him through his wife,
Okay.
Rosie.
Okay. Yes, he does have. Yes,
Ethiopian.
I heard.
I just know one.
I don't know if it's true. It's a podcast. We can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
But he is a Muslim.
Yeah, I guess he could technically have 4.
Exactly.
You're right.
So I mean, it wouldn't be odd for him to have another wife. But he does have Ethiopia. She is your friend.
Yeah, she's a good friend of mine.
Very good.
And I wanted to use, my thing is, I've always said, why can't we create a brand that comes out of Ethiopia? And then eventually Africa, So
think outside of Ethiopia.
in the sense that...
It's beautiful.
Samsung, like
Yes.
Korea,
Yes.
South Korea is so proud of Samsung.
Yes.
Like it's like they're whoa. America is so proud of
Yes.
Apple and all these other American companies.
Yes.
Microsoft. The government supports that. Did you know that? Most people say, "Hey, do you know that if you get a green card
Yes.
in America,
Yes.
one way is to invest."
$100,000?
No, $500,000. It's actually more.
Okay.
But most people don't realize this. But you don't just invest in anything you want. You have to invest in these companies. You have to buy stock in Apple.
You can't just go establish your own new business.
You cannot.
Wow.
Because that's their pride.
That
you
is
know what I mean?
so- wow.
That's them growing that
Wow.
brand and making it bigger and kind of creating more influence around
Ethiopia
it.
can actually do the same thing instead of giving them new licenses. Just have them to support the existing businesses here.
but no,
we're
but
not there yet.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
even Ethiopia has to do this
wanna
thing
build a brand,
where
basically.
you have to make it easier for businesses to thrive.
Facts.
You just have to. You cannot create a system
Yeah.
where it's so hard to create a business,
Facts.
let alone if it's hard to create a business,
Yes.
how much harder is it going to be to turn that business into a brand?
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
So my thing was going back to Akon.
Yes.
Was I wanted to create something that comes out of Ethiopia. So speaking to someone as international
Facts.
as him, getting his contact
great
through
icon.
Rosie.
Yes,
And
yes.
and he asked me, "What's the plan for this?" I said, "Look, I want to create a brand that
Yes.
comes out of Ethiopia and eventually Kenya,
Yes.
Senegal,
Neighboring
and
countries, yes.
right?" And
Yes,
he
Uganda.
kind of believed in it. He's like, he's very pro
Yes, he is.
Africa, very positive. I mean, he didn't have to do it,
Yes.
but he believed in the vision.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, he practically did it for free.
Wow.
So because he believed in that, like together we could be stronger.
Yes.
Africa can be stronger.
Yes.
And so that's something I'm so grateful for Akon for that.
So
For sure.
we only here for an hour, so let's pick Abi's brain. 13 month of sunshine. What's going on with that?
Nothing. Not
That was
a
your
damn
first. That was
thing.
your first movie.
Yeah, that was my first movie.
Okay.
Shot that now like over 13 years
Years
ago.
ago.
13 months of sunshine.
Yes.
It was my first feature film.
Yes.
Shot in America,
Okay.
Los Angeles.
Yes.
I wrote it, directed it, produced it, and also had a small part in it.
Typical Abisha.
A typical artistic filmmaker who was low budget. Like I'm doing everything.
Actually, you're absolutely like Masai is the same thing. Masai Getan, who I previously had on my program. He's the writer, the director, cinematographer.
He did all.
Yeah, it was a 3-man film. It was a 3-man.
Yeah. And so he knows what I went through. I know what he
Absolutely.
went through.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy task. So
Absolutely not.
shout out to him.
Yes.
And he made that happen.
Both
And
you
he
guys,
did-
by the way,
and he
made
did it in
great,
both
great-
places. So
Yes,
that was
yes.
amazing.
Yours is 100% in the U.S.
Mine is all 100% shot in the U.S.
His is 70% in the U.S., 30% in the U.S.
Absolutely. You were in it too.
Yes.
You were in the film.
Yes,
You're
I'm
one
a
of the
mechanic.
friends.
Yes.
Right?
I'm the best. His
Yes,
best friend.
I remember
Yes.
that. You did a good job. You
Thank
guys
you
was
so
that your
much.
first time acting?
That was my first time acting.
Yeah.
Yes. And Amharic as well.
In Amharic.
Yeah.
And that was tough for you
At
and
that
for
time.
him.
For him too. But
For him too. And
for
I was
him too.
surprised. I didn't even think he spoke to
Amharic, right?
I thought, and
I
I,
know
was
he
like,
does,
he,
he does,
he,
he
he
does,
made a
he does.
movie
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Amharic. I was like, good for
He
him.
wrote the script, but it wasn't in Amharic. He wrote it in alphabet.
Yeah. I get that. So
Yeah.
I did 13 months of Sunshine, and now I'm looking, to get back into it and do more films and
You do
stories.
have scripts? Or are you trying to buy
I
scripts?
have a lot of scripts myself. No,
You
I
do?
write.
Yours?
I write.
Okay.
Yeah, I write my own.
Okay, so my next topic is exactly that. So we've talked about how you brought one of the greatest camera recently, right? I love cameras. I love like camera action, and you're kind of like that. You're creative. So, what is your plan? Why did you bring the camera in? And what is your intention? What are you trying to what are you trying to do with Kinetic? Tell me about your
Kinetic Dawn.
Kinetic Dawn. Yes, KD Kastadamana.
Kastadamana is different, not to be confused
Yes.
with Kinetic Dawn. Kinetic Dawn.
So
is a
Kinetic
new-
Dawn actually seen it on Instagram and it suggested it, and I went into their page and I see the logo, and I'm like, yo, somebody stole Bobby's logo, and Bobby here tells me, no, that's my company. So it's kind of funny,
Right.
So what is this new cam? Tell me about the camera first.
Well, it's a
love
black.
cameras.
Yeah, it's a Black Magic.
6K.
6K. It's one of the premium cameras.
Yes.
Affordable. But at the same time, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's affordable in the sense that you can get some really high quality images and pictures with this camera. And the reason I brought that is because I wanted, and I brought it with the full, lenses, the kit. And to tell stories that at least quality-wise match, sort of international standards on some level. I mean, a lot of people already have Blackmagic cameras here.
Yes, they do.
So why did I bring that is to tell our stories.
Wonderful.
African stories, propelling African stories forward.
Wonderful.
That's why. And I think this camera, for what we want to do, it's a good place to start.
It's a brilliant idea.
Exactly. So, I mean, it has great resolution, great image. It's a 6K, you know what I mean? It could capture
So what should we be expecting from Kinetic Dawn within, let's say, 6 months, within a year, let's say in 5 years and 10 years? First of all, he did walk in, and we've just been collaborating. We've been talking about what we're going to do. So many things are in the pipeline as far as what the future holds for Kinetic.com, for Link Up Addis, for Nubia Media and Communication. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for this whole thing.
Thank you for having us.
Bobby is literally one of the guys that I look up to as far as influential people, because he's out there. He's out there trying to change the image of the country, change how people perceive Ethiopia. And this camera actually can tell stories, like you said, and we have so many of them. Bobby, seriously, I'm greatly happy, and I'm very, very happy, and I do want you, to think about me every time you're shooting the camera.
No, I mean, dude, we're gonna work on projects together a lot, especially now that I know you act and you like acting, and you wanna, and you got that kind of like superhero kind of like the hero. You could be the main guy.
This guy,
action hero, nigga. Van Damme.
Yo, this guy just stopped working out like 4 or 5 months, and he's gonna tell me.
Back into it.
Once he gets back, he's gonna be the hero. Actually.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, what are the future plans for Castedemana? One, let's talk about that.
Okay, so first you asked me about Kinetic Dawn.
Yes, Kinetic Dawn. Actually, tell me both.
Okay.
What your future plans are, what you have in the pipeline for 2022, throughout the year. And
so we're moving into a new studio. Okay. We welcome every creative person out there to join us.
Did you guys just hear that one more time? Could you say that one more time? Kinetic Dawn is saying this.
We are creating studios, and we're welcoming creative people to come, to join us, to speak to us. We are going to create co-working spaces. We want to collaborate with a lot of creative people. So in 2022, and as we move forward, we want to start developing new stories, especially our stories, African stories.
Yes.
And so we believe that we're going to start coming up with content that I think is going to be very fun to watch. It's going to be very attractive.
Yes.
So
yes. And
that's
we
the
have
future.
So many of them.
So many.
And what Bobby and what Link Up and what Nubia Media, what all of us trying to do is we want to present to you these stories in such a nice, a beautiful way, and internationally recognized.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
we do have the power, we do have the talent, we do have literally the people, and for people like Bobby to come here and to talk about stuff like this, guys, this is huge. There's a collective energy that's literally shifting in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And Bobby's actually the leader of one of the wagons in there.
Thank you, Mr. AK. You're too kind. You're too kind.
It's facts. So keep talking about Kinetic and Castedemana.
With Kinetic,
yes,
hit us up. We would love to work with you.
So what kind of people are you looking for? If you said you're looking for inspirational people that are motivated, specifically tell us what it is that Kinetic is looking for.
There you go. Like creative people, talented people that want to tell a story. I'm sure there's, like I was just talking to this creative guy. He actually did a movie, which I just watched. I actually rented it on Amazon.
Okay. On Amazon.
On Amazon. He did a wonderful film, brilliant writing.
Ethiopian.
Yes. Koranye. Have you heard of it?
No. It's on Amazon. Okay. What does it mean?
Koranye means it's like a traditional thing where you kind of tie, like when two people get into a fight.
Yeah. Oh.
Back in the days, in ancient times, you would go see the court and they would kind of your
Yeah.
gabi, your cloth,
Yeah.
your fabric. They would
And
tie it
tie it,
together,
and
and
then-
then they would send you to the courts
So you can actually
to
speak.
speak and solve it,
solve
and
the
then
issues.
whoever was found guilty would be
Such
punished
a
in front of the.
beautiful name. Wow.
Yeah, it's Ge'ez. And he wrote this film
Okay.
in Amharic and Ge'ez.
Okay.
And he's
Yes.
they kind of pitched an idea for me. So people like that probably have a story to tell me. We have so many stories.
We have another actually an Ethiopian film on Netflix right now. I don't know if
Which
it's called
one?
Face. Yeah, this is the first time I see an Abishai guy on Netflix. I'm like, no
No,
way.
there's been a few. I haven't heard of that one, but
Okay,
what
so-
is it called?
Face, something with face. Yeah.
I haven't heard of.
It's about some Lada chauffeur and whatever. But it's an Ethiopian film on Netflix.
On Netflix.
This is on Amazon.
This is on Amazon. You guys
Yes.
could check it out.
Yes.
Qoranye.
Koranye.
And
Beautiful
so,
name. Yes.
So that's what I'm looking for there, and then just
That's awesome.
just kind of collaborations, and then there's
Yes.
things that we're going to be looking for, whether it's actors, writers,
Yes.
directors,
Yes.
all these people.
Beautiful.
And with Castadamena, as the sky's the limit, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Damena, we're into, so we might all the way up. So there's a lot of positive things with Castadamena. We'll see.
Yep.
It's a company that's growing. We're
Yes.
very excited about it. We
Yes.
have a lot of talented people.
Yes.
And our slogan is that we want to make sure that everyone in Ethiopia gets really the sleep they deserve.
And I'm actually sleeping on one right now.
Amen,
as
brother.
we speak. I had a well night.
How's your back?
No, it's perfect.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
perfect. Seriously, that's the Demena. Seriously, one of the greatest beds in Ethiopia. I'm not just
so
saying
much.
that just because Bobby's here. The product speaks for itself. You get a great night's sleep, and you get to talk like me once a great night's sleep.
My
All
man.
right. So my next question, right
Yes.
before we're done, our
Yes.
hour is about to be up in 5 minutes, probably. So what would you recommend? What would you tell? It goes back to the previous questions. To the young people that are out there, to the Life by Design is all about how the elites, how the most influential people, how they stay afloat. So give us a niche. Give us something that you do on a regular basis. That keeps you. It could be meditation. It could be walking. It could be running. It could be exercise. Or you don't have to tell us. Maybe you do have a secret that you want to keep.
Keep a secret.
So,
No.
yeah.
So what is it that gives me my edge,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
For the most part, yes, working out definitely helps
Yes.
me. Working out, and that when I do work out, and then it sort of kind of connects to eating right. So it's like when you take care of your body,
Yes.
then it's like kind of like your mind follows
Yes.
after that.
Fact.
And of course, I struggle with it, but I do try to meditate
Yes.
a lot, and that does help me when I do have the time to do
Yes,
that.
yes.
And then other things is really just staying informed, reading,
Yes.
really but I read weird things. So what is it? So reading books,
Yeah.
of course, if it's informative books that you can, whether it's reading about
Yes.
the stock market, like
Yes.
you had Al here,
Yes.
reading about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Keeping
Yes.
yourself informed,
Yes.
that's very important.
Yes.
Sometimes we tend to get distracted.
An idle
from-
mind is the devil's.
Yes,
workshop.
yes,
Yes.
yes. There you go.
Yes.
So the more you know about these new things that are out there,
Facts.
the more that it helps you process new things.
Yes.
But a lot of people nowadays are, and again, we talked about this. Social media distracts you from the
100%.
things that you
100%.
could be staying
Yes.
productive.
Yes.
On.
So I started this thing. It's only been about 2 months now, where I don't open my social media until 10:30, 11 a.m. at all.
Really,
Yes.
there you go.
So I rise early. I've noticed when I
Do you have a schedule for? Do you have a
I do,
routine?
5:30. 5:30 in the morning every morning. I have work. I have to attend to 7 a.m. every morning, Monday through
Workout?
Friday. Workouts, I'm more of anytime guy because to me it's a lifestyle.
Right.
If I did have my life situated in a way that I would want, like having a gym at home, then I'll be working out at home.
morning.
But right now, I work out in the afternoon anytime. Exactly. So it's these kind of things. I make my bed. Waking up in the morning, making your bed actually
That help. Yeah, yeah,
designs your whole way. I do my
Absolutely.
affirmations.
There you go.
Yeah.
There
so
you
I
go.
do these little things,
Awesome.
to be able to keep me at a place like this to interview people like you.
Right. No, you're
seriously.
doing amazing.
So it's that. So he does do that. He does exercise. He does meditation. He does read books. These are the things that keep him afloat.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, people that are on top, who's Bobby? These are the things that they do to stay afloat. So my next question, if there was any question that I would that you wanted me to ask that I didn't ask,
Any question?
or
I
if
think
not,
you
if you
got it.
could use this time to actually thank some people.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So, first of all, really, AK, thank you so much for inviting me over.
Bobby, yeah, thank you,
really,
bro.
it
Thank
means
you.
a lot.
To
that
me, it
you
means
took
a
the
lot
time.
to actually take your time and actually come here.
Yeah, no.
Seriously.
No, you really appreciate it, and you guys are doing an amazing job. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Keep it up, and I know that we're going to collaborate
Yes.
on a lot of things.
Yes.
So just I do want to thank a lot of people that I work with right now who are my family.
Yes.
And they, I just want you guys to know that I'm proud of you. We do amazing work, and I really can't wait to see what we do next. So I know if you're listening, you know who you are. You're too many to mention. So let's just keep it going. We could do amazing things together. From Castadamana to Kinetic Dawn, and to all my friends, family out there. And one thing I do want to say is let's just all kind of meditate, pray, whatever you believe in.
Amen.
For peace
Amen.
in our country, for
Yes.
the world.
Yes.
Because, dude, it is a crazy time right
Yes.
now
Yes,
that
it
we
is.
are living
Yes.
in.
Yes, 100%.
Like it almost feels like the end of times.
Yes, it does.
Right?
Yes.
So I just want to send this positive vibe out
Yes,
there.
yes.
Because without that, nothing
Nothing gets
matters.
done.
Nothing matters. So if there's going to be a nuclear war tomorrow, nothing
Absolutely.
matters, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I would also want to give wisdom and grace and a lot of things to our government.
Yes.
To have that,
Yes.
the ability to lead
wisdom,
and
yes.
wisdom and grace
Yes,
to
yes.
just get us out
Out of
this
this-
situation
Absolutely.
without being pulled into this ego game.
Absolutely.
Because we're all humans. We're all going to have egos and
100%,
feelings.
100%.
But to have a certain level of consciousness that's divine and say, hey, maybe this might be the better path
Yes.
to do this.
Yes.
And that's what I pray for in our country. And that's it. Thanks so
Man,
much.
thank you so much, Bobby. Honestly speaking, I've known this guy for over 10 years, but I've not known him like I have today.
Yeah.
He's more humble, up close. When you hear about Bobby, Bobby's such a great guy. Honestly, Bobby, thank you for taking your time,
Thank
for
you so
taking
much.
from your busy schedule to come out here to share some of your, things, your history with us. I honestly want to thank you on behalf of Link Up Addis, on behalf of Nubian Media and Communication. We do want to thank you and stay afloat.
Thank you,
Whatever
brother.
you need, we're
trying.
here for you. So as far as what you said about us connecting, we're here. So Bobby, thank you so much.
My man, appreciate it.
Xavier Stidley.
I mean.